Good morning, everybody. Right off the bat, I want to say please bear with me through this video. It is still very difficult for me to speak. My face is still very swollen. I am progressing through the charts. I'm taking my time. I'm 1 day behind. So if you were expecting your chart on 1 day, I'm moving everybody up 1 day. But I'm trying to stay on track with at least that. I uploaded the Hermetic Kabbalion video for your consideration, but now I would like to give my thoughts and my perspective on some of the information that was given there. Even though I highly approve of that information, I still find a lot of errors in it, and I'm going to talk about those. First of all, God, our creator, source, the all. We are told in the Gnostic Gospels of how creation came into being. And it wasn't this at all. To me, it is kind of a blending of the two. Creation, in the beginning, the all, or the creator, God, looks into the water, I assume the water of life, the living water, and he sees his reflection. It's almost like a story of Narcissus. He looks into the water. He sees his reflection, and she comes forth, speaking of Sophia, and that all things come from Sophia. And we're told Sophia means wisdom. So creation itself is a reflection. We are in the mirror. We're the ones in the mirror. In the heavenly perspective, we're the ones in the mirror. We are the reflection. I agree that everything is created from thought. I definitely remember before I was born. I can even remember before I was born into this body. And I can even remember coming into existence in my previous existence. And I understood quite clearly, we are all a thought in the mind of Creator. That is our beginning. Everything's beginning begins with a thought, an image in the mind. And that is my understanding of that. Everything is created from nothing, which is no thing. And thought is a no thing. So everything is created from thought. I don't advertise my channel for a particular reason. Because to me, I understand clearly, this world is run by the mystery schools. And it was supposed to be. But the mystery schools were hijacked a long, long time ago. And a lot of disinformation came down, including what's in the Kabbalion. The misinformation is that all things come from Egypt. And that is so far from the truth, it's incredible. Because everything comes from origin. Its origin. And origin is, hallowed are the Ori, and origin is Ori intel. The Orient is the origin of all things. It is not Africa. We are told in the Vedic stories and the Rig Vedas, Mahabharata, a lot of other of the Hindu material, that the first great war on this planet was between the yellow people and the black people. And that makes perfect sense, because now they're trying to make the war between Christian and Islam, which are the white people and the brown people. They want to reverse that dynamic. Now, another word that has been just really destroyed, that I'm fixing to blow out of the water, or Aryan. Vowels are no good. The damn word is Orion. Orion comes from the Orient, not from the white people or the black people. They swapped the A for the O for the A, and we immediately jump over. You can get the correct definition of this word again out of the Hindu. And there's a lot of people and a lot of information out there telling you all this information comes from Egypt, or all this information comes from India. And it may very well come from Egypt and India to us after the flood. But pre-flood, everything is Oriental. That's why we call them Celestials. It is a term that was used before the turn of the last century for people from the Orient. We didn't call them Orientals. We called them Celestials. And that's why you will find literally on these DNA charts everybody's getting, you will get a percentage. Everybody's got some Oriental blood in them, some Asian. They call them Asian. Asians. You gotta throw away the vowels and look at what you got. But I don't add my channel for a particular reason. Like I said, all the mystery schools have been taken over. They bring in neophytes that actually, regardless of what rank they achieve in the mystery schools, on their knowledge base, they all remain neophytes. They're never really told the truth. They are not real initiates. They are artificial initiates. That's what I call them. Artificial initiates. They're artificial. We've been through all this. They are official art. They're artificial. That's why Artie did it. It's all about art. They deceive us through the art. We say a picture paints 1,000 words. That's an old saying from the Arabic tongue, which actually went a picture paints 10,000 words. And we just diluted it down. But to me, there are natural initiates. I had the opportunity to watch the first episode, I missed the second one, of Lodge 49. The 49ers. And I'm assuming, I didn't get to see the second one, but I'm assuming at the end of the first one, the guy who was carried away on the gurney, the Grand Poobah, that he told the fella, we're not the real lodge. And indeed, they are not the real lodge. The real lodge is natural initiates, chosen by nature, God, the stars, whatever you want to call it. You can call them the elect, you can call them whatever you want to, but they're predestined. The actual initiates into the Hermetics or the mystery schools comes naturally. I've told you all that if you've been in school and you've learned to read and write, then you are initiate, and you have been initiated into the mystery schools. There's no way around it, because they've taught you a set of symbols so that you can learn secrets. Unfortunately, it's the wrong set of symbols and the wrong secrets to keep you in a rabbit hole, going in circles. They call it a conspiracy. A con means with, and spear, we get the word spiral. It's conspiral. It just does this. And where do we see that? We've already been told this is a bad symbol. This ain't a bad symbol. It's what they're doing with the symbols. It's like the symbol of Pan, the goat man, Saturn. They inverted it to Baphomet and told us it was the devil. That's what they did. They take the all-seeing eye and turn it into the evil eye. They take the eye of providence and make it the eye of destruction, or the evil eye. And we all have this within us. But my point here is, my channel is not for everybody. It's just not. I set this channel up in a way that the natural initiates would come, and they would recognize this material when they saw it. It would evoke a deep understanding in them that they already knew, a deep confirmation of an understanding they already knew, because it was in them. It's in your charts. I'm looking at this. As I do all of these charts, it is, I can't even begin to tell you the patterns that show up that are confirmation to me that all of this is very real, and that it's revealing itself to me through other people's charts. I'm able to look into the past, and I'm able to look into the future, several decades, as I'm doing these charts. And what you see is quite astounding. What's going on today, no doubt in my mind, it's heavenly ordained, as above, so below. With all of these planets retrograde, everybody is losing their freaking mind. A lot of you are so depressed and so lost. I'll tell you again, when you hit your bottom, and I mean your bottom, that's when everything changes, because you have nowhere to go but up. In opening of my third eye, I just gave up. I didn't want to be here anymore. I was chasing death. I was chasing Saturn. I wanted him, but I didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't see the purpose. To me, it was a place of suffering. But I came to understand that my purpose was not about me. It wasn't about me. When I opened my third eye, what I was told was, I stand in the gap for you between life and death. If you care so little for the life you've been given, then give it for a cause. That there are others suffering the same thing you are. If you care so little, then why not give your life for them? To stop this forbidden cycle that has been perpetrated on mankind. I knew there was something wrong with this place. I didn't know how I knew. I just knew that this was not supposed to be like this. And indeed, I think everybody on this planet is aware of that. We have been usurped. I like to use the analogy of Dune. At the end of the movie Dune, Paul Muad'Dib, cast the emperor and told him the only place that he would be ruling from here on out would be his own prison planet. That he had a planet where he put people that were his enemies, and that he could go rule them. And to me, that's where we are. We're on the emperor's forbidden planet. Even this word emperor, the empire, the empowerer, it comes from an Oriental word. Everything comes from origin. Everything comes from Orient. That's why we don't get to see China. That's why we're told they're socialist and don't look over there and all these bad things they do. We're not allowed to look into that information because that's where their power comes from. The Orient is the dragon, and the dragon gave them their power. Who has the dragon? Who has the dragon parade in the street? There's your answer. The Vatican predominantly, it wears black and white and tells you that it's feminine or Masonic, but it's run by the patriarch, which is yellow and red. And who wears yellow and red? The monks chanting in Tibet wear yellow and red. They are the patriarch. The Vatican was supposed to be the matriarch. You have two sets of black and whites. You have the Vatican that's black and white, the church, and you also have Freemasonry that's black and white. And they are currently at war with each other. Occasionally you'll see a mixture of the two. Walmart changed their colors a few years back. They used to be blue and white, and then they changed their colors to black and yellow. And it was drastic. And I didn't even want to walk in a Walmart at that point, even though the black and yellow made it very balanced. Black, feminine, yellow, masculine. It became androgynous, but it became overbearing. And it's also the downfall of America, by the way, was Walmart, set up by the Clintons. The Clintons were lawyers for Walmart, and then they bribed their way onto the board of Walmart, and then got the backing of the money of Walmart when everything was made in America, to put Clinton in the White House and to open the door for the China market. For the China market to come in, and now nothing in Walmart is sold made in America. It's all made in China. And that was the purpose. To take down the little businessman, to move everything into the corporate state. But I was very uncomfortable with the black and yellow. I always have been, because it's the hive mind. It's the bumblebee. It's the hive mind. When you talk about the different colors, the yin and the yang, at the center of the Black Lodge is the white, and at the center of the White Lodge is the black. We recognize them as the White Pope and the Black Pope, but black and white's all feminine. It's earth black and water white. And a lot of times they'll switch it on us. They'll make it white earth and black water. But at the center of either, and in ourselves as well. This is in ourselves as well. We all have this within us. We all have, and they tell you this is masculine and feminine. If this was masculine and feminine, this one would need to be white with the black center, and this one would need to be red with a yellow center. It's all been tampered with, and we're not allowed to see the origin or the Orient. Go try digging up some ancient Oriental material, and it's difficult. Boy, is it difficult. Nothing you find is older than the 19th century. Nothing. Nothing. They won't let you see the old stuff. You have to go talk to the people. You have to go talk to some old Oriental person who's almost 100 years old and let them tell you the stories their grandparents told them. Because it's all been changed so that you don't know. Now, the adversary, the enemy, he's an imposter, or it is an imposter. And what it does is it imitates. That's all it can do. It is an actor. It imitates. It has no original thought. It can only mimic. It's a mocker. It's a mimic. It's a mime. And so what it does, it pretends. It pretends to be God. This false matrix we have. It thinks it can be God. It pretends to be God. So it puts on the symbols and the images of God as a mockery. Okay? That's why we have Baphomet instead of Pan. And that's why it's demonized. They want to make you hate these symbols. They shove that all-seeing eye on you in a negative connotation as the evil eye. And indeed it is. When your natal charts, your destiny tells exactly if you are a natural initiate or an artificial one. And to me, everybody in the mystery schools today are artificial initiates. The natural ones, it's going to happen to you like it did me. You're not looking for it. You don't even know what it is, and it just comes up and knocks you over the head. And says, hey, you belong over here. Or, hey, look at this. But in Lodge 49, at the end, when he told him, we're not the real lodge, I said, I can't believe they're going to tell us. They're actually going to admit it, that they're the fake lodge. And we are the real lodge. Those of us who have been naturally initiated, chosen by nature, as above, so below, chosen by the stars, it's in our destiny, and you find your way to this channel, or other channels with similar information. Because you're a natural initiate. You don't know why, but you know. And that's what Aquarius is all about. It's about knowing. So, let me see what else. I wish I would have gotten to see episode 2 of Lodge 49. I'll get around to it. But even in that, they're telling us the wickedness also that goes on within these lodges that was never, ever supposed to be. There was never supposed to be compromise, blackmail. It was supposed to be run on integrity. It was supposed to be run on honesty and truth. And instead, it's now all run on a lie. They've all been infiltrated. All of the churches, all of the religions, all of the governments have been infiltrated with this false dynamic we call the matrix that's overlaying as above, so below. It wants to do as below, so above. It wants to change the world that we live in into pure hell so that heaven becomes hell. It wants to reverse its own curse. I understand what it's doing. So in turn, we must reverse its curse. And to do that, you have to see through the lie. Never, ever let yourself be compromised. Take the heat. Like when I opened my third eye and he told me, if I cared so little for my life, why not give it for a cause? There was others suffering the same thing I was, and I should stand in the gap for them as he stood in the gap for me, even if it kills you. That's the Herculean test. That's the Ophiuchus test. Loyalty. That is the Vishnu test. You make it through the whole journey, and then you have to decide whether you're going to leave your dog behind. There's always one more test, and it's a test of loyalty. So never, ever doubt that. And be prepared if you want to go the full route and you want to know the whole truth, that nature, as a natural initiate, not one in these fake mystery schools, then you will be tested on your loyalty. You will receive a test. We all do. And it is whether or not we're willing to lay down our lives for the truth. And all you have to do is agree within your heart, and you've passed the test. And there is no test. You're never faced with that challenge. But he needs to know you'll do it. And It's in our hearts where we are judged. All of the great information that comes out of Egypt, which is really Babylon, pre-flood Babylon, Egypt, comes from the Orient. Period. Hands down. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. I don't see it any other way. The languages all tell us that. All of them. And the Chinese language is very different from all other languages on this planet. And I'm going to tell you how. After the flood, the marker point of language was the Phoenicians. And they had a town in the Levant, which is today what we would call Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, that area of the Mediterranean. The Crescent, the Fertile Crescent, the Levant. They had a town called Biblios, which was where we get our word Bible or book from. And from this point, they tell us Jerusalem, but it's not. It's Biblios. The languages were divided. Everything on the west wrote from left to right, and everything on the east wrote from right to left. But the Chinese don't do that. The ancient Mandarin tongues all write up and down. As above, so below. And that's why they were called the Celestials. They actually have the heavenly language. When my son was about 4th, 5th grade, we actually tried to learn the Oriental tongue. Without the symbols, just the sounds, right? Just the sounds. I couldn't do it. As many languages I spoke, and I can't tell you how much time I spent, but these people speak so fast, and they don't break their words down. They don't have syllables. They don't have spaces. It's almost like one long continuous stream. And I understood nothing. I wasn't able to slow it down enough to separate it. It came too fast. When we get foreign exchange students here, they learned really fast. The best place to send them to learn English was the South, because we draw our words out. We make a complete distinction, not between just words, but the syllables in the words. We talk too slow. We drag everything out. And you can hear every vowel, every consonant. And that's where they would send them. People make fun of the way we talk. I've said this in videos before. When you say you drawl, D-R-A-W-L, you drawl your words. You're drawing God. You draw L. You do it with your tongue. The ancient Hermetic knowledge was never written down. It was all in the tongue. It was natural. You had to know the language. You had to know the symbols. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. This word comes from the Greek word logo. And we're told it means, or the logos. And that means symbols. They tell you it means power. Well, there's power in symbols. So God is the symbol. The symbol is God. The symbol creates. Everything's created by the symbols, and not anything are created without them. And the symbol became flesh and dwelt among us. Now the symbol dwells within us. The symbol of the third eye. But I tell you again, that ancient knowledge does not come from Egypt, Babylon, Africa, the Middle East, India, Europe. No. I've traced all these back, and they all have a root. They all have a source. They all have an origin, and it's oriental, and they're the true Oriens. Hallowed are the Ori. Remember that from Stargate? They were fire worshippers, sun worshippers, the fire languages. the age of Sagittarius, the age of Leo, and the age of Aries, part of the patriarch, what we call the yellow hats. And that's where this ancient knowledge comes from. And it has infested all of the mystery schools from within, using the lure of greed and power. Energy. It's all about energy. And that's really what this thing is all about. What's going on here? They harvest our inner. They harvest our energy, which is our inner G. And that equals 7, which are your chakras, your energy portals. And they drain them. In the movie The Dark Crystal, you have the Skeksis, who I call the Vatican, right? They're all greedy. They all hate each other. They're all wanting to be the next one in line to hold that scepter of power. They all want it. They're all watching the stars, waiting on this time. But what do? They take the children and they harvest their energy. They suck their chi. Where did my mouse go? My face is starting to hurt. Come on. There we go. They take their inner chi. That's what they do. They suck it out. The life force from the third eye. They suck it right out of them, their pineal gland, their milk and their honey, their serotonin and their melanin. They harvest it through the glands. It's the fruit of the children. That sexual energy of the milk, when it rises up into the pineal gland, becomes the honey. John the Baptist ate locust and honey. Do you understand? He was in the wilderness. You got to be alone to do this. I'm quite aware. I've been wanting a roommate since I got here, and I've tried a couple. One I didn't want, and the other one just wanted to go home, bless her heart. But I understand now. It's my time to be the hermit. I need to be alone because I have to be. I'm too distracted. I'm too distracted with the world and other people and even my loneliness. So I have to learn to go in more. Right now I've been distracted with pain. My pain levels have been off the charts. I want to thank Tim real quick before I close this video. I have ordered Kratom twice this month. And both times it made it all the way to the office. And for some reason they can't find my packages. 2 of them. So that's 2 kilos gone. And the prices are going up. It's harder to order off the internet because you can no longer pay with your credit cards. So it's made it almost impossible. So I left today and went and got me some Kratom. Thanks to Tim. I had to go way across town to get some locally, and my God, the prices here are staggering. But I am feeling better. But I also know that it's pain that drives us to this. I agreed, and I still agree. I agreed as a child, and I still agree. There is no price too big to pay to get our energy back, our inner chi. They're the same. And it's a key. CH it should be spelt this way. Chi. What we would say chi. Because this letter here was changed. It's the inner key. It's the inner chi. The inner G. The inner chi. And we've all got one. We've all got one. They lie to us about it. They've got you looking everywhere. They want to make you pick the left side or the right side. Even in the Kabbalion, they were so hung up on duality, that there is only duality. You only have one or the other, but they're really the same thing. Not so. Why is that doing that? Let's just close you out. We're through here. I bet you I can do it this way. My computer is so old and so slow. And now we're not responding at all. Okay, well, again, a lot of the teaching in that, always look for the lie hidden between two truths, because everything that comes out is approved, especially on that level when you talk about high-level production material. And all of this has been so tampered with, even before they get it. A lot of people releasing this information are not aware it's been tampered with. And that's why I'm so set on you people learning alchemy, because once you lay alchemy over the zodiac, nobody can lie to you about the zodiac. All the traditions of men just fall away. When you lay alchemy over top of hermetics, then all of the traditions of men fall away. It must come in line with the alchemy, or it has been tampered with. You must learn the new language, the phonetic language, about what you hear. That's why I'm so adamant on to hear with your eyes and see with your ears. Learn when you see a word or somebody says a word, write that word on the chalkboard in your mind's eye, your third eye, your mind's eye. Start using it. Write everything down on it. You want to remember something, you have a post-it note in your head. Why do you need one on the outside? How many of you don't even need an alarm clock anymore? You get up 5 minutes before it goes off. Why is that? Some of you have to have 2 and 3 alarm clocks. You'll set one, turn it off, and then 10 minutes later the other one goes off to remind you again, and you still don't want to get up. But then there are the natural initiates, those of you who get up 5-10 minutes before it goes off and turn it off. It never goes off because you wake up before. You've got a built-in post-it note. You're using your third eye. You're using your mind's eye. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. I was speaking with someone yesterday, and they're talking about DMT and the shamanistic traditions and all of this. To me, that is the broad way. To use drugs or even tantric sex to open the third eye is going the broad way. Everybody does this. You need the straight and narrow path. And it's a lonely path. It's a solitary path. It's the path of the solo man. The solo man. The one that walks alone. Because nobody can go in your third eye but you. And we don't want the Skeksis draining us anymore, do we? My whole reason for staying was the children. What were being done to me and to my siblings. But when I grew up and found out, oh, this is a lot worse than we could have ever imagined. This has been going on for thousands of years all over the world. And in far worse levels than what I experienced. When I found this out, I was horrified at first. Absolutely horrified. And I wanted to stop it. And I still do. And then I became to understand why we are not allowed to cop out or opt out. Why suicide is bad. Why am I in Las Vegas? I'm an anchor. This is the last place I'd be. I don't gamble. I don't drink. I find all of Sin City actually appalling. But it doesn't bother me It absolutely doesn't bother me. I'm in full acceptance. There are people from all over the world here, and I have come to learn I have to be here right now. If I was not here as an anchor, this place would crumble. And there are a lot of you wanting to run, leave. You're searching, you're looking. You feel like you don't belong. Well, I damn sure feel like I don't belong here, but I am aware it's exactly where I need to be. Not for me. I don't want anything. I want no thing. I want everybody to remember. If I had one gift from the world, it's to remember, to pull yourself together and remember yourself. Protect your inner chi. Don't give it away and never let them take it. Stand up for yourself. Become inner powered. When they come after your chi, you tell them you're taking theirs instead. Turn the ship around. We have been in a mutiny far too long. It's time to take back over, Rover. I hope this does happen. I hope this world can become the creation it was meant to be. But all of this was allowed. And that's what alchemy is about. It is about drawing out the best of the best. And the rest just fall to the wayside. It's like the seed. Some of it falls on stony ground. Some of it falls on good ground. Some of it the birds pick up and eat and carry off somewhere else. And we are dirt. To me, this is death. This life, what you call life, I call death. And Saturn definitely rules this place, so we are definitely dead. Believe it or not. Where I come from before here was life. And I was cast into a body of dirt. When you have a near-death experience, you instantly are aware your soul is 6 feet above your body. You're dead. You're 6 feet under and you don't even know it. We've all been drowned in the flood. There are different rites of passage and initiation, and they all come by a sort of death. There's a death by air, suffocation. There's a death by drowning, which is another type of suffocation, really. There are many different types of death. This inner death. But we have entered death when you enter this world. Is Saturn a good thing or a bad thing? That depends on which side of the knife you're holding. Are you holding the handle or the blade? Because it's only one thing. In Game of Thrones, the bravos, the bravados, they tell you there is only one God, and his name is death. And what do we say to death? Not today.